Support for today's show comes from Skillshare.com. Now, Skillshare is a site where they have thousands of courses and lots of course instructors to help you not just simply professionally, but personally as well. I know I have a number of my classes there, and it's one price per month, and it's unlimited access to content. And they give you a 7-day free trial. So you can take all of my classes that way. And if you decide not to renew, okay, you decided not to renew. I'm fine with that. But I'm just simply saying it's a place where you can learn and grow and not have to worry about spending hundreds of dollars for courses like so many instructors make you do. Again, use the link in the show notes, get a 7-day free trial. It will make a difference in your job search and so much more. And we'll be back in just one moment. This is No BS Job Search Advice Radio, episode 2240. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome. Negotiating. Well, when you have a recruiter representing you, they're an ally in doing this because, frankly, they're trying to earn a commission. And here I'm going to give you a couple of suggestions on how to do it no matter what salary level you're at. Hope you find this helpful and give it an honest review wherever you listen to the show, and we'll be back in just one moment. Whenever I talk about FlexJobs, I want to do the old music from Batman. FlexJobs. Okay, I'll spare you the singing and just say FlexJobs is a site with flexible employment opportunities throughout the United States. It's a paid service, but it's a very good service for lots of different types of work. So use the link in the show notes. Check out FlexJobs. Make your own decision about its value to you. I think you will find it very helpful if you're looking for flexible employment. And we'll be back in just one moment. And I want to talk with you about negotiating salary when you're working through a recruiter. Now, most of the time, I'm a big advocate of working with a recruiter to find a position. Why? Frankly, a couple of things. The relationship with the employer that greases the skids for you getting in the door. And number two, the ease from your standpoint. After all, they handle all your scheduling, handle all the peripheral nonsense and deflect it from you where your inexperience can distract you from the process, from seeing the employer as they should be seen. But when it gets to salary negotiation, there's an interesting dynamic. And that is the recruiter smells blood in the water, the blood being their fee. And their job is to close the deal. And that's true whether it's a retained search firm or a contingency search firm. The retained firm will talk very nicely and say, well, they won't even address it. They'll dismiss it as nonsense, but it's, everyone's working to make a living, and this isn't social work. So ultimately, they're trying to close the hire and get the position filled, just like the contingency firm. So the tendency is to push and bully very nicely or very aggressively the candidate into taking what the employer offers. I wish it weren't true, but statistics tell me this. Not the way I work. I really do try and make a match on the money, but most recruiters don't. After all, at the end of the day, you're the one transaction, and they're going to try and work with that employer for many years to come. So their natural tendency is to try and squeeze you rather than squeeze the employer. Now, when you're working through a recruiter, it's important, just like it is when you're negotiating with an employer directly, to know what your real value is. Now, sometimes your numbers may be wrong. You're talking to friends who are shooting from the hip and don't really have any data. So you need to know your data and to understand that the data reflects a range. So I'll give you an example. You're looking at a job that's 130 to 150. Or if you're a lower level individual, 60 to 70,000, or an even higher level individual, 4 to 425. Okay, it's human nature to only hear the top number: 70,000, 150,
425. And focus in on that number. And if you're offered a dime less, to say, hey, how come I didn't get all the money? After all, my value is whatever it is. At the end of the day, you want to be in the range and you want to drive it up as high as possible. So when you're working with the recruiter, you have to say things to him or her along the lines of, they've come in a touch low and I'm frankly disappointed. And I have other things going on that will come in at a better number than this. Why don't you circle back and see if they'll improve it? They'll try and probe more, and from their standpoint, the contingency recruiter is panicked, and the retained recruiter, I'm not going to project on them. I'll just simply say that they're going to try and push a little bit harder on the employer to up the number. Without that, you're basically going to be stuck with the recruiter, the headhunter, the search professional who's going to be trying to push you into that box of the number rather than trying to have them push back at the employer in a diplomatic way. And you need to be prepared to walk away from the situation if you take this strategy. I want to be absolutely clear about that, because they may say, she's not going to take it, or he's not going to take it unless you up the money. In the example of the senior exec, said, look, I've said from day one 425, and they've come in at 415. I believe my value is 425, and the $10,000 difference I'm going to make for them many times over in the course of my work. And if they don't see the value, then this isn't the right place for me. And with that, you've thrown the gauntlet down to say, I'm prepared to walk away unless they hit my number. 8 times out of 10, they're going to hit the number. If they aren't, they're being foolish, and you don't want to join a company populated with fools. For the person looking at that job at 130 to 150, where you zero in on 150, you're making 125. You're probably not going to get the 150, but you got to push them up a little bit. So again, you circle back to the recruiter. This is true of the $60,000 to $70,000 job as well. You circle back to the recruiter and very calmly say, they've come in a bit short. I've got other things going on. This is a market where I can land. And, I prefer it being there, but if they don't value me sufficiently, then I'll be very happy at this next place I'm talking to. And by doing that, you're going to force them to earn their check and earn their fee.
So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, here are a few things I can do to help you with your job search beyond simply being your coach. First of all, I've got a new book out called The Right Answers to Tough Interview Questions. It is like a cookbook with answers to tons of interview questions that you're going to be asked on interviews. And if you pair it up with my other new book, The Ultimate Job Interview Framework, they are a terrific pair of books to help you with interviewing. In addition, I have a new service where you can practice mock interviews. If you go to thebiggamehunter.us/mock, I've got a service there, very inexpensive, like $99, where we have mock interviews set up. I'm going to be adding more to it very soon, but you can record your answers to them, and then I can critique them and help you perform better on them. You probably have noticed my show notes are pretty thorough with products and services that can help you with your search. And connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. Lastly, my website has a ton of great information. That's thebiggamehunter.us. Now, if you're not ready to go there and go through the blog, put the address in your phone, thebiggamehunter.us, Jeff Altman. So this way, when you're ready to go, you have a way of getting back to my website. Hope you have a terrific day, and most importantly, be great!